Welcome, Josh. We are doing what? The final making a
Uh,
Pigface video.
yeah, the final before I retire, final pig face video. Very excited.
Okay, so good. Now, before we dive into it, do you have any pickup shots that you guys have left to do? Because that's technically not finished if you have pickup shots.
I don't know. I'm gonna be
You don't
really
know?
honest with you. I don't know. I'm sure if I send it out into the universe that we need to do pickup shots, everybody's gonna tell me to go fuck myself and just say put it together what you got. So, and I wouldn't even be like mad. I wouldn't blame them. It's been a very long journey to get to this spot. So yeah,
Yes. In the last video we had, we talked about weekends 8, 9, and 10. So you sort of recapped everything that went down with those. And now we're going to talk about weekends 11 and 12, and then we're going to sort of get into your thoughts a little bit about how you feel about how this all went down, and now that it's finally over for you. But let's back up to weekend 11. Tell the people what happened during weekend 11. Oh, and
yeah,
before you do, point out for anyone who's brand new listening, the reason why there's not tons of behind the scenes for this is because I haven't been on set for the past few months because this has gone really way beyond um, the shooting, the
the
original shooting.
the original date of ending I think was June 28th, and we wrapped last Saturday, so that would have been June 13th, I think, or July or August 13th. So we went way over. Um,
Yeah,
way
so
over.
not a lot of behind the scenes, unfortunately, but we did get some. I did get a few of the actors who sent me some stuff that they had done.
Getting some shots for Matt.
He would love this.
Hi, Matthew. We wish you were here in the van sweating with us.
Slices.
With orange slices.
But we'll splice them into this episode here and there as Josh mentions it. But tell me, let's go back to weekend 11. So you finished weekend 10. You're pretty jazzed. You killed Nicole. Everybody was like, "Wow, that's great. Went well." Lead us into week 11.
We were supposed to. So weekend 11 was something that we tried to shoot, or we shot originally. We got it's the van scene. It's the van with the girls driving to camp. It's that scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that scene. We shot the first half of that back on like week, I don't know, 4 or some shit a while back, and uh, we ran out of time, and I think Chance's camera or the card had stopped work. Something happened to where we could not finish that day. So we had rescheduled that date for back in June or July or something, and I got COVID, and we couldn't do it. So we had to reschedule that date again, and that was week 11. So I was dreading that week because nothing to do with anything bad. It just I knew shooting in that van sucks.
Hey, Chance.
Or like on a train. You should zoom up on that butt.
For me to get out of this van, I'm just gonna need you to pop this door and
And
Was it
that's
the same van? Did you get the exact same van?
the exact same van. The company that we got the van from is super awesome to work with, and if I ever, and I won't, but if I were to ever write another scene that I had to shoot a van bullshit thing with, I just go back to them because they wrote down the license plate and like the model and everything of the van for continuity issues, so I
Oh,
would get the
nice.
exact same van that I had for the other shoot. So they were very cool about that situation. I knew that Patrick was not available that day, and that a couple people had to be done by 4 o'clock. That's what I was going at, and it was going to be 100 degrees outside. So those were the things that I knew walking into that van scene, and so we started out with. I was supposed to pick up the van on, and I'm sorry, this is now story time with Josh. I really apologize. Please feel free to like budge in because nobody wants to listen to me talk
I
for
like it. I
however
love
long this
hearing
is
this.
gonna fucking take.
I
Um,
talk too much, so I'm glad when you take over.
yeah. So yeah. I was supposed to pick up the van on Friday for a Saturday shoot. The people that had the van I was supposed to use, the company called me and said, "Hey, they haven't returned this van, so it's not here for you to come and pick up." And I was like, "That sucks. That's not good." They're like, "I assure you it's gonna be here, but it might get here after we close, so you won't be able to come and get it. Whatever. You can't pick it up until 9 o'clock tomorrow." And I was like, "That really sucks because we have a 10 o'clock call time, and from where that company is to where we were shooting, it's about a 30-40 minute drive, kind of. It's a shitty drive." But I got to that van company at like 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and then there was a fucking like line of people that I had to wait behind. So I was already like, today is gonna suck. Like I was trying to like not be like negative about it going in, but I just like I already saw shit was like kind of going south. So I waited behind all these people. It was cool, and I got the van. We did the whole thing. started to drive. Started to drive to the location.
Don't tell
And
me you hit another deer.
no.
Ugh.
And got about halfway there and realized that I had packed everything in that van except for our slate for that day. So I'm halfway to the location, and I was like, God, I can't turn around. It's 20 minutes back to my house, and then I have to start this drive over. And my wife was the hero that day because I called her and I was like, "Hey, do you happen to have the slate in your vehicle?" And she was like, "Yep, it's sitting right here." And I was like, "Can you drive that over to where I'm at?" So she did. She was super cool about getting that over to me. Jenny,
Lifesaver.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, she did not have to bring that. She was busy that day. We were leaving for Vegas that Monday, so she had a ton of shit to do, and there's a bunch of shit that I should have been doing, but I was out filming instead. So, hero. We had an actress that her phone was not giving her the location where we were shooting, so she was driving around lost, trying to find out. Like her phone, I guess, like just doesn't map that location, I guess. So she was trying to figure out how to get there. We were starting off on a very rough foot. But we got there, we got to location. Everybody was super like pepped and happy. For as hot as it was that day, everybody was super upbeat and like had a really good positive attitudes.
Let's just drive off into this ditch.
Into the sunset. Look wonderful.
Like how you guys are all
so
back.
fun. It's really great.
And that turned shit around really quickly because it was really nice to see happy, friendly faces. And most of them just could have been happy because it was their last day of dealing with this shit. Or they're just really positive, happy people, which I'm going to go with that.
Did you have the air conditioner on at all in the van when you were filming?
We ran the air conditioner between shots. So
Gotcha.
we you were there that first day. We would drive up, drive a section, and then drive, and on the second take we drive back that section, and we do about a couple takes, and then we'd move on to the next shot. And but it was like 105 in that van.
It's only 108 degrees. 108.
So between when we were filming, there was no air flow in that van at all. Some of those scenes were like shots were really long takes, and everybody was just like drenched and dying until we'd kick the air conditioner on, and then there was nice relief for a couple minutes. We had a lot of shots to get done that day too. It was a lineup of stuff that we had to get done, and because we started an hour behind, we had to pick up that hour. So people, the actors were doing really good work, and they had their lines, and everybody was moving things along really well. And then it got to like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All of a sudden, it was just like it was 2 o'clock, and I was sitting there talking with Chance because we were skeleton crewing it that day too. I was directing and running sound and slating that day. So I would be holding a boom and trying to slate and being like trying to do stuff, and Chance was setting up shots, and he was keeping everybody super positive as I was panicking in the background trying to figure out how we were going to get through all this shit in the next few hours. And then Chance and I decided we took a little break. We let the girls sit in the air conditioning, and we took a little break and just kind of wandered off to the side and said, okay, on this list, what is the shit that we actually have to get? Like, what is the stuff we need for our actual coverage? And so we just started like going through and crossing off all these shots on the list that we're just like, we don't need that. We don't need that. We kind of have that. We kind of have this. We got that. And we did that. We broke it down. Like we cut it in half. Yeah, had 2 hours left to finish what we kind of left on the list. And we got through it. It's a bummer when you have this much time to shoot something, and you were hoping for this much time. But again, micro budget filmmaking with a bunch of actresses that have other projects that they have been trying to get to for a while, you shut your fucking mouth and you get through what you can get through, and you say thank you at the end of it. So it was a good day, I hope.
Action. Reaction.
No!
Whoa!
God damn it!
Oh my god.
What happened?
Ah. Calm down, ladies. It's just a flat tire. I'll have it fixed in no time. I'll have us all to the camp on time.
Yippee.
Patrick's got the footage now, so he may be like, hey, why did you not get 20 of the shots that was on the list? And I will be like, because I had 4 hours.
Because he did the whole shot list, right? He put that together?
He did the whole shot list, all of the artwork, and storyboarding. Yeah. He did everything, and he directed the first, section of that. So you'll probably see a big giant difference between the first section, and then like a spot will hit, and the back section will be like close up, wide, medium, move on. Close up. I mean, just the same setup, because that's just what we had time for. And it was a bummer, but I mean, that's what we had. So, said we got done about 3:45, 3:50. I had gifts for the girls, so I wanted to like make sure that I was able to kind of have 5 minutes to hand those out as my very small thank you.
But thank you guys. I know this was like a giant time commitment, and I appreciate you all being here every single time, every single day. I feel like Katie's laughing at me, but that's okay.
I'm just happy.
I just really appreciate you guys showing up and doing this every day. So I know this was like probably longer than you would have ever expected when you signed on to this, and I'm talking back in January, February. This has been a long haul. I don't have. I have something for everybody. It's nothing big. It's nothing crazy. But I can't let you forget that you made this movie. So, Megan, I got yours when I wrap you next Saturday. I got you. So, you guys are seeing it first. I'm not sharing it.
Oh my God.
So that's your official Pigface 2 poster. That's the official Pigface 2 artwork.
That's beautiful.
Hang on to. Am I? You know what, Megan? I'm gonna get that taken care of. I lied. I'm gonna give this to you now because I'll lose it. So again, I know it's not a big giant thing, but
The man, the big, the legend.
it is the little thing that I can kind of give and do. So
For running this gauntlet for the last 8 months that they've been running, and that was just like the one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I was able to do before they left, because you never know if or when you're going to see those people again. So
So I this might be a little bit of a personal question,
that's cool.
but when you, because I've been on many films where it's like the main rep. Now there's going to be another weekend that you're filming that we're going to discuss in a little bit here, but that day, night, whatever it may be, where the main cast and crew. I mean, that's
Right.
it for most of them.
and Katie!
We did it! Baby cheers, listen to it. Take a chance! Chance, you want in on it?
I gotta get BTS. Get in there, Chance. Alright.
Everyone did awesome.
Yeah, good job.
Yes.
How do you feel during that? Do you like, is it sort of like an emotional, like, man, I went through this gauntlet with these people. They're my friends now, and yeah, I might not see these people for many years after this, or is it just sort of relief that the actual filming is done and over with? Walk us through your emotions as a director when
Yeah.
when you tell that is a wrap for all of you.
Well, I absolutely refuse to cry in front of anybody. So you'll never see that, minus one time for something that we did for Lisa Kavanda. But beyond that, you'll never see me. I just won't cry in front of people. I just don't. I don't want to do it. It's it's a relief to be done with a project that, for me, by the time October runs around, and if we have an edit for the film festival, that's a year for me, from beginning to end. And I don't have the attention span usually to work on something for more than a week. I just get really bored and I'm ready to move on. But I was very relieved to wrap this because it's been a long time working on it. But everybody that came in and did this project, um, it's a bummer to see. It usually takes a little bit to hit me because I've been hanging out with these guys and now they're gonna go off and do really awesome, cool things. And I'm done making movies this year. Like this year, I'm done. I'm not gonna make anything else. And I don't know. I never know when I'm gonna make, if and when I'm gonna make the next thing. I also don't plan like I used to. I used to have the next thing ready to go. I used to be like, okay, I'm gonna wrap this one. I'm gonna take a small break. I'm gonna do a couple things, and then I'm gonna start bugging people to do the next thing. And I don't do that anymore. Just because I feel like I'm getting old and tired. And so because there's no, there used to be something to look forward to, film wise. And so now when I wrap this stuff, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if and when I'm going to make another thing. So it's kind of a bummer for me too, because I'd love to keep making movies and creating stuff and hanging out with people, but I'm also just like, this one really kind of burnt me out. I'm tired. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's what happens with us filmmakers. Like, we spend so much time working on a project for so long, we put so much into it, and then again, so many different things go wrong along the way, so much stress and anxiety, and at the end of it, you're just kind of like, oh, I need a nice long break. But then
yeah,
you just, after a certain period of time, when you're sort of mentally decompressed, you will probably be like, God damn it, do
right.
this again, aren't I?
I
I'm
mean,
just gonna do this again.
and for me, like too, and for a few people that are around that are kind of still have my mentality, because I don't know anybody that like it's like, oh hell yeah, I'll go make a movie for free for the next year and not take any monetary gain from it. Yeah, like I'd totally love to do that. You know, uh and I it's a dumb thing to do. It's you I don't know. It's like going to work a job for free for a full year, and um, it gets kind of hard to do that after a while. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So what was the reaction? I mean, we'll see a little bit of the video. I'll splice in here of what Chance took.
yeah.
But what was the reaction of the cast once you're like, "That's it, we're wrapped, we're done. You
Um,
guys are not needed anymore."
they they did you know their thing. They all kind of, because here's the thing too, is like most of them are going back and they're working on another project, together. Um, Katie is doing Inner Worlds, and she's in that with a few, I think, people from the cast, Nicole and Megan, but they're going off to do Nervous Records, and so they're all working together. Like the next week, I'm pretty sure they were on a set working together again. Um, but they did a big giant, group hug. I don't give out Josh hugs for free, so I was not part of that.
Can we get a group hug?
I know you. Yeah, you gotta know me for 20 years to get a Josh hug. That's just the way it is. I don't hug people. I'm not a hugger. Um, but
Okay.
they did a big
So
group hug, and it was nice to watch, and it was cool. And so they all got in their cars and they went off to do, like I said, they're all doing other cool, super cool, like cool projects. So that I'm really
yeah,
excited
and
about. So
a lot of them, we have interviews popping up on the Once More for Safety show. So
yeah, I'm
those of you
looking
watching
forward
this,
to talking to them again. So it'll be
yeah.
cool.
So plug another show on Outpost Unknown. You can go check out the Once More for Safety show where we talk about all kinds of aspects of micro budget filmmaking and interview a bunch of the individuals here in
Yeah.
Nebraska about that. So you have that sort of big emotional, like, all right, almost the entire cast and crew, they're all wrapped on weekend 11.
Mhm.
However, you had another weekend, a weekend 12. Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah. So weekend 12 again was a rescheduled date. We actually had shot um a small chunk of weekend 12 a few weeks back, and then it started to downpour, and it didn't let up. So
You can
um
see that on the making of Pigface. Some of the previous ones. I don't know if that was
y-
weekend 5 and 6 or weekend 4. One of those.
yeah,
Nature Strikes Back, I think, is what I titled it.
yeah. Well, it did not strike this weekend, which was nice. I had been watching the weather. So I'll that day was crazy because I landed in Vegas on Friday. So I shot the Sunday before I left for Vegas. I shot the Saturday once I came back. So it was a long week. Um, but I landed I got back from Vegas on Friday, and I stayed the night in a hotel in Council Bluffs because I got up um, Saturday morning at like 7 in the morning to go help out on Jeremy Lubash's film. I went to go help Chance. Um, a little bit of payback. Jeremy's making a film in Omaha right now. And so I was on that set from like 8 to 5, and then we drove down to Lincoln and got on the set of Pigface around 6:30, and we shot on that set until like it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was a long day, and I can't do. I love those days where they're just really long, um, like crazy days of just hanging out on set and making movies and hanging out with cool people. But I can't do there's no way I could do very many of them now. I could do them once in a while, but I almost died that day. I was super tired. um but it was also the day that I knew was going to be a really tough shoot because there's a lot going on, and it was the finale of the movie, and there's a lot going on in that scene. There's like a whole fight sequence, and there's some other stuff to do that night as well. There's some pickup shots we had to cram in there also. But we had Patrick was there, and it was again really small crew and just two people in the cast. It was Jesse and Megan for this final fight scene between Pigface and our main character Danny, and Patrick ran them through all the fight choreography. We got lights set up. We had everything kind of set up and ready to go before dark hit, which was nice because we were in a way ahead of the game. But we had to start over because the lighting wasn't going to match the first time we did it. We had to start over from the beginning. So it was, and I'm not going to lie, that was a kind of a hangout night for me because Patrick was going to direct that fight sequence, and Chance and Mark Rankin was there. Like, he was like our lighting person for that. Like, he is awesome to work with, and I had only worked with Mark maybe one or two other times, but that dude's awesome to work with, and he's super positive, and he just wants to help, which was nice. And he got us in a place where everything just looked really nice between him and Chance. Everything looked really good out there. I slated that night and just kind of hung out, and kind of I would jump in there for suggestions once in a while to say, hey, can we try this, or can we do this? But again, Patrick had it all mapped out, and he just kind of knew what he wanted from that night. And like I said, once in a while, I'd kind of pop my head in and be like, hey, can we try this? So I had a pretty easy, simple night. We I don't know if I would like, I don't know, I wasn't sure how much I wanted to say, but fuck it. So this is the night that we exploded Pigface. There, I've said it.
Wow.
Spoilers. And we had tested it, so they had an idea of how we can kind of shoot everything. There was definitely some things that went wrong, some things that didn't work out. But it was a good. I mean, it was a good night. It was fun.
Did you actually use an explosive, or did you do light trickery and things of that nature? How did you do the blow up gag?
It's all being done, yeah, with just lights, basically, just lights. They shot it with him in his explosion position, and then they shot it, clean. And Patrick and Mark are gonna figure out how to put that all together in post. So
Fix it in post, baby. Fix it
Yep.
in post.
So I I said Heather did some good stuff that night with makeup and some effects, and yeah, I don't. Weekend 11 and weekend 12 were very like non drama, non crazy, non emotional weekends. They were just very like simple is not the word, but they're just very like vanilla. You know what I mean? They just weren't crazy weekends.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot that went wrong. We
No
didn't
tick
have.
apocalypse.
What's that?
No tick apocalypse.
No, not that I know of. The other reason, and you'll see this if you ever see the movie, continuity wise, the other reason we had to shoot it was because between the last time we shot that and this last week, Gary mowed down all the grass. He hated it all, or whatever you fucking do when you're a farmer. He mowed all the grass down. So the grass that was like, past our knees that we've been walking through for however many weeks was now just looked like a mowed down yard.
Gotcha.
So when halfway through the movie when those girls are chomping through this tall grass, by the end of it, all Pigface had mowed. So
So you finish. You said about 3 o'clock in the morning. You
yes,
get that final thing. What is your emotion when it's all done? Like
um,
completely done. You're like you're on your way home, right? Dodging more deer probably, but you're on your way home. You're just sitting there by yourself. You're like, we're done. Walk me through your emotions on that.
um, well, so last when I made Pigface when we finished, uh, I sat down in the cabin and I just kind of sat there for a little while and just kind of soaked it all in. Uh, and just kind of gathered my thoughts and stuff, that shit. But this one I had to get. I didn't have a car, and I still don't have a car because that fucking deer. Um, I had to get a ride home, so uh, I didn't get a chance to really sit out there and kind of just reflect on uh, the shoot. But so we all cleaned up, and I was back out there on Sunday because we just decided that we didn't want to pack everything and we would just go back the next day and pack everything up. So I kind of was able to do my reflection a little bit that day. Um, like I said, when I wrap these things up, I'm always really excited to be kind of done because it's so long. Um, like I said, give me a week. I'll be ready. Like, you know, I always want to do the next thing because I get bored. I just don't know what the next thing is going to be. So, um, yeah, I just, you know, uh, not having anything lined up and ready to go always kind of bums me out. But uh, yeah, said I will be excited to see how it gets put together. So, and Patrick has
So
already
we're
sent me some stuff, really rough edits so far. That he's starting to kind of piece together. So it's kind of nice uh, to see it come together.
what's your plans? Are you gonna do the third pig face?
I'm gonna, like I told everybody else, I'm gonna write it. Um, I'm writing it right now. But selfishly, I'm writing it for me, just so you know, I have an ending for it. Um, so it's definitely being written, and I've talked to a few people that uh they like the only way I could do it is if they were willing to come back. Um, so I've talked to them, and so far they've not told me no. So, um, but I also know like um, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be like you have to like kind of top yourself every time you go out, uh,
Yeah.
and I just don't know. I don't know if I can write it the way I want to write it and do it the way I want to do it. But we'll see. I said we're micro budgets. We make movies with no money, and we figure it out. So I may just have to do that. So that's where I'm at right
Yeah.
now with Pigface 3. But I'm excited writing it. I'm having a lot of fun writing it. And there's a lot of fun characters coming in, and there's a little ode to one of my favorite filmmakers in there, and I won't mention his name. Don't you worry. Uh, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun writing it. So there's that.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, we'll see if Pigface three ever comes to fruition. With
Yeah.
that, I got nothing else. Is there any final thoughts that you have? Anything that we didn't cover?
Not really.
Tell
Beyond.
the cast. The cast and crew is going to be watching this, Josh. So
Mm,
I want you to look in the camera and I want you to tell me what do you want to say to them?
I've already told them thank you. I've already thanked everybody, and I can't thank everybody like that. I mean, constant. I mean, I can. Um, And I feel very much under pressure right now because I already told you beyond thank you. After thank you, the words are just dog shit and mush. But I've said thank you to everybody. There's there's no way in a million years I could pay back 8 months worth of coming out there and dragging and letting myself and Patrick drag you through the mud and the ticks and the shitty weather and the heat and all the crap that we dragged you through for weeks. There's no way that I could pay that back and thank enough. There's just it's impossible. So yeah, beyond that, beyond the thank you, that's what I got. So
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the journey of the making of Pigface 2. You can check out all the previous videos that we did in this, including tons of behind the scenes, at least for the first half of the movie, in this Outpost Unknown YouTube playlist. And interestingly enough, though this playlist doesn't get the most views, it has the people who watch the longest of everything on Outpost Unknown, which is kind of interesting and exciting, I think.
yeah,
So,
that's cool.
um,
Oh,
yeah. So,
if you want to check out the first Pigface film, the first
yeah.
one, Midnight Fright Films on YouTube. The first Pigface is up there for free. You can just watch it and watch 1 minute and 37 seconds of it, and then shut it off. It'll be cool. So YouTube, Midnight Fright Films, Pigface.
You got to watch the first Pigface before they roll into Pigface 2 because they're going to want to watch Pigface 2 after watching all these making of videos and behind the scenes. And thanks,
Cool.
everybody. Thanks again, Josh, for being a good sport and helping out in the last few episodes when there was no behind the scenes footage. And we look forward to the movie coming out. That's it, everybody. Say bye, Josh.
Peace out, Boy Scout.